Welcome back to my channel, guys. If you're new, welcome. My name is Karen. I'm sorry. I know for some of you all, this is a shock just by reading the title. I know, like, I'm still in shock myself, and it's been a while already. So I do want to put out there, I'm going to be inserting, the only reason I'm going to be showing pictures, and some of you guys are probably like, that is so disgusting. Like, why would you do that? Like, just like me trying to find answers online as to what it looked like, I wanted to know what was happening. So that's the only reason why I'm going to put it. I'm going to insert it for like 1 second. And, if you want to keep looking at it, you can pause the video. If not, keep it moving. So to start off, I do want to, and if those of you that are new to my channel, I currently have 5 boys. I've never had a miscarriage. Carriage. Yeah. I've never had a miscarriage prior to my 5 boys. So this was a shock to me. This is happening to you at the moment. I was like, what is going on? I've had 5 normal pregnancies. Why is this happening now? In August, I had my period in July, and 10 days later, I started to see spotting. I remember it was a Sunday, and I started to see some spotting, like pinkish. So I was like, what's going on? Like, I automatically knew that was not normal. So I just let it go. I was like, okay, maybe, you know, like, this is going to be TMI, but I was like, maybe, during intercourses something went wrong. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what could have happened, but it was just what was going in through my mind. And I was like, okay, it'll go away. If it was something due to intercourses, it's gonna go away. So that was on a Sunday. Monday morning, so Sunday, it was just like when I would go to the restroom, I would wipe and it would be pinkish. So Monday morning, I was not bleeding at all. There was no spotting. I was like, okay, it went away. Come afternoon Monday, I started spotting again. So this time I had to put a pad on because it was actually, coming down. It wasn't only when I wiped. So I was like, okay, like, this is not normal. So I went on Google and I was Googling, I guess a lot of us do that nowadays. We go online. Why am I bleeding? Like, I already had my period, so why am I bleeding? And Google at that moment said that it's possible that I could be going, not going through, but like maybe a hormonal thing that I was, having. So to drink a lot of water, and, it could happen when you're on birth control and stuff like that. But like I said, I was not on any birth control, so I was clueless of why this was happening. So the other result answer that I got from Google was that I could possibly have a cyst. So at that moment, I was like, okay, I am having a little bit of abdominal pain. I did have all my 5 children natural, no epidural. So labor was painful, but like, I was able to handle it. So this pain that I was getting, abdominal pain that I was having wasn't severe to the point where I was like, okay, I need to go to the doctor. I need to go to the hospital. No, it was a little bit like cramping, like in where my ovaries are. And so it was uncomfortable is how I'm going to put it. So I was like, okay, if I have a cyst, I had to contact somebody that I knew that had a cyst in the past. So I wanted to get, their response as to what their symptoms were and what was happening to them. So yes, they had abdominal pain. And also I was really bloated. When I had my period, I usually get bloated. So after my period stopped, I was still bloated. Like, my stomach would not go down. So when this person was explaining that to me, that they had the cyst and like bleeding and bloating and just didn't feel themselves and stuff like that, I was like, oh my God, like, that is what's happening to me. So I was bleeding. So that was on Monday. Tuesday I was bleeding. So Tuesday afternoon, I called my doctor and I told her I was having abnormal bleeding. And she told me again, the whole hormonal thing that I had read on Google. So to take it easy, to drink a lot of water, and if I continue to have heavy bleeding and stuff or be uncomfortable, to call sooner to make an appointment. So I had made an appointment for the following Monday. So again, this was on a Tuesday that I called in, and I made an appointment on Monday for my annual for pap smear. So I go Wednesday, bleeding lightly. Thursday, still spotting. Friday, still spotting. Saturday, still spotting. Come Sunday afternoon, I recall it was about 4 in the afternoon Sunday. So I've already bled for 8 days because from that Sunday to Sunday, I've already bled 8 days. So that Sunday around 4 p.m., I went to the grocery store. I bought some stuff. We were doing a cookout. If you guys follow me on Snapchat, you may recall we were doing a cookout. We were making hot dogs and burgers and steak or whatever. So we were doing a cookout. So I went to the grocery store to buy some things that we were still missing. And I had a total of 3 bags, not heavy at all. But when I bring those bags in, I feel a gush come out. And I was like, oh my God, like, I hope that was not a blood clot because what the heck? Like, these bags are not even that heavy. Usually that happens as far as I go. When I am on my period, I tend to carry heavy things, and that is what happens. Not tend to carry them, but like if I carry them, that is what happens. So I avoid that, heavy lifting and stuff like that. So when that happened, when I felt that gush come out, I went up to the bathroom and I could not believe what I saw. And I'm going to post a picture here. And I was like, what the hell is this? And the pad actually soaked in blood. So apart from that was on top, the pad is soaked in blood. And I was like, okay, this is not normal. But I'm thinking in the back of my head, the bags that I was lifting, maybe I thought they were not heavy, but they were actually heavy. So I stopped, I told my husband, you know what? I just had like a big blood clot come out and blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay, sit down, like don't do anything else. Okay. So I want to say about 3 hours later after that, and I was having, again, abdominal pain. It did get a little bit more severe than it was happening. So it was actually getting more uncomfortable, and I was also having lower back pain. And so I was like, okay, this is not normal. Like, what is going on? So like I said, 3 hours later after that, I felt another gush come out. And I was like, what is going on? I was so scared. So I went to the bathroom and I sat on the toilet and I looked at my underwear and I could not believe again what had came out. So here's a picture of that. And I was so scared. I was like, what the hell? I could feel it still coming out as I'm sitting on the toilet. I did not want to look in the toilet at all. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I sat on the toilet for about 10 to 15 minutes because like my legs were even getting numb from sitting on the toilet for so long because it was still dripping. It was still coming out. And I was like, okay, like this is not normal. So I'm like, tomorrow's Monday and I have the appointment. So I'm just going to wait till tomorrow. And whatever, I flushed the toilet without even looking down. I changed my pad. And I told my husband, I was like, like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand. So I started Googling again, what is happening to me? And so now with the symptoms that I was having, Google said that I was having a miscarriage. And I told my husband, what? Like, in order for me to be having a miscarriage, that means I am pregnant. And I just had my period 10 days ago. Like, how am I going to be pregnant? Because if I was pregnant at that point, at that moment that this was happening, I was already 2 weeks pregnant. 2 weeks. So I didn't understand like what was happening. And I was like, no, this cannot be. Like, Google. I could be like, oh, I have a headache, and they say I got a brain tumor or something. So I was like, nah. So I was like, tomorrow is Monday. I have my appointment. I'll just wait till tomorrow and see what happens. So later that night, I stopped. Um, I think I had one more blood clot come out. I'm not exactly sure. Um, but I'll insert a picture if I did, just so you guys can see, like, what it looked like every time. And so later that night, after the third one came out, I believe there was three. After the third big blood clot came out, I stopped bleeding heavily. So I was still spotting, but it wasn't heavy. So Monday I went to my appointment, and the doctor, she said, what's going on. I showed her the picture. She said it could be that you had a cyst that bursted. So what I'm going to do is do a vaginal ultrasound to see what's going on. And if that's the case, we'll need to put you on antibiotics. But we need to do a pregnancy test first before we can put you on antibiotics, because, you can't be pregnant and on these antibiotics. So I was like, okay, sure, fine. So I go get some blood tests done. Like, they took out blood as well. And they told me, she comes to get me, and she takes me to her office. So she didn't take me to the patient room anymore. She takes me to her office, and she sits down, and she looks at me, and she says, do you have anybody that can come and pick you up and take you to the hospital? And I was like, what? And she says, your pregnancy test results came back positive. And I'm just like, this was literally me. Give me one moment. Like, I'm trying to process everything, and I started breaking down in tears, because how is it, for one, that I'm pregnant, and two, having a miscarriage? Like, I did not understand what was going on. So, I mean, if I was pregnant and this was not happening, you guys, I would be so happy, because, like, I mean, I don't know. I'll be happy because I've been having baby fever lately, and I'll be happy. And, like, honestly, I would be so happy. So I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. What the hell? Like, why is this happening to me? So I started asking her questions, and all of these what ifs were going through my head. And it was just like a shock. So she told me, I need you to go to the hospital within the hour, because if you are pregnant and you're bleeding, we know that's not normal. Like, to a certain extent, it's not normal. So I was like, okay. I called my husband. Hey, like, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm pregnant. So he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. I don't know. Like, I need to go to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. And so my husband, he was just trying to keep his calm and trying to calm me down. Like, don't worry, and don't get like, I don't know how to explain this to you guys, but my husband, he was just trying to keep me calm from thinking like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And then, like, I'm losing the baby, and then be all like sad and stuff like that, if you guys understand what I mean. And so again, by this time, by that Monday that I went to the doctor, I was already 3 weeks pregnant. And so it was really confusing, because the P test came back positive, and according to them, it was too soon to show positive. So they think I was already pregnant when I had my period back in July, um, that I was already pregnant. And then, I had a miscarriage in August. So I was like, I don't understand. I don't know. So I go to the hospital. At the hospital, they were like, okay, you're bleeding. The test results show that you are pregnant, but we cannot see anything in an ultrasound. They did an ultrasound. They're like, we can't see anything. They did a vaginal ultrasound. Still can't see anything. So they did what the quantitative number for the pregnancy level. Mine was at 1,000. So yes, I'm pregnant. And the doctor tells me, in 2 days, I want you to go to your OBGYN and have them do this test again. It needs to rise, and it needs to go up drastically, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. If it goes up, then that means that the baby is going to make it, and, you're going to, continue being pregnant. But if it goes down, then you are having a miscarriage, and, we're sorry or whatever. And I was like, okay. So I did ask the doctor in the hospital, why is this happening? Like, I've had 5 normal pregnancies. Why is this happening to me now? So pretty much what he told me is 1 out of 4 babies result in a miscarriage. So in a way, like the way that he came off was like ya te tocó. Like, it's about time it happened to you. You've had a 5, so like, you already missed a shot. Like, one of those 5 should have been a miscarriage, is how I took it. So I was like, okay, like, you don't have to be so rude or say it like that, but okay. So yeah, so he said 1 out of 4 pregnancies result in a miscarriage, which I don't know. My mom had 6 without a miscarriage. I know a lot of people that have had multiple kids and didn't go through miscarriages, so I don't know. But he said just look at it as, the baby was not going to turn out well. Your body knows um, these certain things. So maybe the baby didn't make it into the uterus. So it could have been like a lot of things that could have went wrong. I did stop bleeding. I want to say I was bleeding for um, 2 weeks. I was bleeding for 2 weeks. I was bleeding for 1 week. So from that Sunday to Saturday, I was spotting, and then Sunday is when, everything, the blood clots and everything was coming out. So after that, I continued bleeding for the following week, and then it stopped. So in total, I bled for about 2 weeks. So that's my story. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I hope I covered everything. And yeah, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next vlog. Bye.